Alright, this is part 2 of BB2. Video is already set a little over 7 minutes long. I don't want to make the video any longer than that because with my terrible internet, it didn't upload very fast. So, looking at finding the minimum value of a parabola, which means what's the lowest it can go, what's the minimum it can be. Okay, so it's like when it turns. So if you had one that turns, that means it can't go down here because it turned up here. So it's asking you where's the lowest value. Okay. So looking here, we have y equals 2x, or x squared, and then plus 5x. So what we're going to be doing is, in our last video we found x, and then I told you we were going to be going a step further, then later a step further. Here's the step further. Okay, so we're going to be finding x. So remember that x is negative b over 2a. Okay, so don't forget that from the first video. And so we're doing the same thing. So remember, I kind of wrote down kind of like a cheat sheet over here. Step 1, find x. Step 2, plug in x. What that means is, so we're going to be finding x. So negative b, so negative b over 2a. And remember, there's a coefficient of 1 in front of that x squared. And so we have 2 times 1. And so we end up getting negative 5 halves, so 5 over 2. Okay? So that's your x, but that's not what we're going to be typing in. Okay, so don't make the mistake of when it says find the minimum value, you're not finding just x and like, oh, that's it. Nope, here's the next step. You got to do one more step further. It is plug in x. So what we're going to be doing is y equals x squared. Well, we found out what x is. Negative 5 halves squared plus 5 times negative 5 halves. Now, I haven't shown you this yet, but I know most of us do work on computers, phones, whatever. And some concerns that some of y'all have talked to me about is not having a calculator at home. So all you have to do, okay, is go on to Google, type in the word calculator, and as you notice, I've already typed one in just to verify to make sure it works the way I need it to work, and then just start typing your problems. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of show you from here. Flashing back, our question was, or our answer that we found out after plugging in x was x squared, being x was negative 5 halves. So we would do in parentheses negative 5 over 2. Now remember, just because it has a division sign doesn't mean it's not a fraction. It's 5 over 2. And then the squared is this right down here, okay, where it says x. I got my phone all wrapped up in the cord. X, y, a little y at the top. So when I touch that, it puts a little bitty box up here. So the next number you type will be the exponent. Okay, so squared. And then it was plus 5, and then in parentheses again, negative 5 over 2. And there wasn't a C on this one, so when we type it in, hit there, we get negative 6.25, so negative 6. So negative 6 1/4. So in this case, we have y is negative 6 1/4. Okay. All right, over here, doing the same thing. Now we have a C. Okay. Doesn't change anything except you have one small extra step you got to type in. Okay. So looking here, we have finding our x, and I'm going to rewrite it since it's right here. So finding our x, negative b, so here's our b. So negative 3 over 2 times, and then don't forget 1 in front there. So we get negative 3 halves as our x. Now that's not the answer. That just tells you what we're going to be plugging in. Taking that, plugging it in here. So we have y equals x squared. So x squared is, we found out x is negative 3 halves squared plus 3 times, since there's an x, we gotta do it again. Negative 3.5 there, and then plus our 33 over 4. Okay? Alright, my recommendation over here is, answer here is putting that as an improper fraction. I've done them all as impropers. I haven't done any as a mixed number. Hadn't answered them that way just because in the previous problems it told us not to, but it does recognize their improper fractions as your answers. I don't know if it answers, if that will work when you type it in. So if it does, it does, it doesn't, it doesn't, but it's the same thing. All right. But for Excel purposes, just make sure I would recommend putting it in improper fraction. Now, plugging this in, so I'm going to go back up here, show you how to type it in one more time, and we'll be done with this part. So, all right, everything's cleared. We had negative 3 halves squared plus 3 times negative 3 halves plus, and then our 33 over 4. Well, probably should go ahead and put that. See if I can go back here. Just backspace. Probably should go ahead and put that in parentheses. Just to make sure, because that's all one fraction. Alright, and then enter. 6, look at there. Alright, so we got y equals 6. And you can just put the 6, you don't have to put the y equals. I haven't had to yet. Alright, now find the vertex. So we're finding the coordinates of the parabola. So find the vertex, okay? So we're going one more step. Alright, it's not really much of a step, but it is one more step. So first things first, find your x. So notice here, it's x squared. There's no extra x, and then we got our c here. So this is like y equals ax squared plus c. There's no b. We need the b. So if there's nothing there, if I rewrite the problem, then it should be 0x minus the 25 over 4. Okay? Since there's not an x here, that tells you right there what holds no value. A 0 doesn't. So, find our x. Negative b over 2a. So, negative b, here's the negative b. So, negative 0, which we've already covered that in the last video. And then 2 times, and we've done this so many times, hopefully it's just kind of second nature now. So, 2a, 1 is a. So, negative 0, so 0 over 2, which is 0. So that tells you x, I'm going to go down here, in our answer, which is an ordered pair, x is 0. Now we got to find y. So plug this back in. So we have y equals x squared, to the original problem, okay, minus 25 over 4. Well, hopefully you know x squared, or x squared, in this case 0 squared, is 0. 0 minus 25 over 4 is negative 25 over 4. And there's your answer. So that extra step, not much of a step, just writing them down in ordered pair form. All right, and last one for B2. If you have any other problems, you can email me what your problem is, and I'll look into it a little further. But after doing all these, you should be pretty good to go. Just numbers will change a little bit. The numbers will get a little bit bigger, but the steps are the same. All right, so I'm finding b. So this one already has our b, bx here. So finding what x is. So we have x is negative b over 2a. negative 2 on top, and then 2a, a is 1. So we have negative 2 over 2, which is negative 1. So our x is going to be, just going to write it down here at the bottom, negative 1. Okay, so we're plugging that back in to the original problem. So y equals, and then negative 1 squared. Make sure you, if you type in a calculator, you put it in parentheses. If you don't, it'll read it wrong. And then plus 2 times negative 1 plus 1. So negative 1 times negative 1 is 1. Plus, and then 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. And then plus 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. Plus negative 2, 0. And then so y is 0. So your coordinates are negative 1, 0. Like I said, any problems, make sure you email me and we'll get back on B2 and figure something out.